Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And welcome to Sofa Reviews. Today we're watching Split Second.
Released in 1992, it stars Rutger Hauer as Detective Stone in the far-off year of 2008, where London has flooded.
40 days and nights of torrential rain? Because if there's one thing we're not used to in England, it's rain.
As the film starts, Stone heads into a strip club.
Police, dickhead.
Luckily, most dogs in England have a better command of the English language than most reality TV stars.
What do your family give it to you? Not that.
While he phones for the police, a girl passes him and goes into the toilets, asking him to watch the door for her.
He decides to look at a pair of tits instead, because what's the worst that could happen?
After questioning some people and the dog, he goes running after the killer but is unable to catch him.
Elsewhere, we're given lots of stupid background information on Stone.
He's worked in every hellhole in the world and been fired from all of them. They say he's the best. He is. I followed him down an alleyway. He shot a trash can.
Back at the station, the police chief questions Stone and we're introduced to his new partner.
Who is this?
Detective Dick Durkin.
This is followed by the police chief destroying any reasonable argument for keeping Stone on the case as he decides to keep Stone on the case.
Paranoid people with guns are a menace to society. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're just another crazy with a gun.
The killer sends Stone a half-eaten heart in a cool box before Stone and Dick go to investigate another murder.
Has he ever done this before?
No.
I wonder if he stood on the bed to paint it.
If he did, he shouldn't be too hard to find.
Why?
He'd have to be 10 feet tall.
Or he's got a stepladder.
Later, Stone abandons Dick to visit his former partner Foster's grave. Here he bumps into Michelle, Foster's widow, who he once had an affair with.
After some awkward conversation, she goes back with him to his pigeon-infested and filthy apartment.
Stone falls asleep, having a flashback about Foster's death before waking up with a pigeon on his head.
He meets up with Dick, who rather stupidly offers him a massage at an awkward angle while he's driving.
Listen, pal. Touching me is not a great idea.
They stop off for breakfast, where Dick explains that he now thinks Stone has psychic powers.
What is it about you that reminds me of Mom?
The cold, dead eyes that only occasionally flicker with a brief show of emotion in their otherwise black void as they express nothing but disappointment.
My mom was a lot of things. She was not charming.
As Dick earnestly continues with his psychic theory, we see the killer entering Stone's apartment.
They get a call about the intruder and head back to Stone's apartment, only to find Michelle unharmed.
It turns out the killer is in a different apartment and they prepare to confront him.
Although Dick goes in too early and so is shot out of a window.
Stone and the killer have a brief gun battle where it is revealed that the killer is in fact some form of beast.
After finding a mutilated corpse and ignoring Michelle's whinging about being bitten, Stone passes out and so we're treated to another flashback.
He wakes up in the police station where Dick explains that the scar on his shoulder must be his psychic connection to the beast.
Who's supposed to be dead?
Never heard of a bulletproof vest?
Yes, although I didn't realise they were also glass shards in the face and gravity proof.
Man, what a ride!
They get results back from the lab revealing that the beast has DNA from all of its victims.
This is followed by the assumption that as the beast didn't get to eat the heart of its last victim, it will break into the morgue at the police station, which sadly turns out to be true.
The beast manages to escape, leading them to decide they need to get bigger guns.
Presumably, the Increased Localised Moisture in London Act of 2008 included a subclause allowing the police to hoard an obscene amount of guns.
Listen, that fires 650 rounds a minute. Yeah? Yeah. What do you need two for?
They get back to Stone's apartment where they find a heart in the fridge.
After throwing the heart out of the window like a responsible person, Stone finds Michelle in the bath flooding his house.
Stone helps Michelle while Dick goes outside to be on guard duty, before he quickly disappears.
With no reply on the radio, Stone begins his hunt for Dick.
He soon finds Dick and they head back to the apartment, only to find that Michelle has disappeared as well.
Dick suddenly realises that he's bleeding and passes out, although it's hard to understand how he hadn't noticed the carving in his chest earlier.
They work out that the carving is actually a map, and indicating where they can find Michelle and the Beast.
They sneak into the flooded underground, Dick even finding time to go swimming.
They soon find Michelle before Dick tells her to swing onto a train, as apparently they can't break the circle of light.
The Beast slowly chases Michelle with its claw through the roof as Stone fires randomly and Dick has vanished.
Stone confronts the Beast on the train before he realises he's run out of ammo. Luckily, Dick reappears to save the day.
Because bullets and grenades weren't enough, they also electrocute the Beast.
Although even this isn't enough as the Beast continues to attack them.
Stone literally rips its heart out of its chest. Michelle and Dick shoot the body as Stone shoots the still beating heart on the palm of his hand.
Even after all of this, it's hinted that there is something still left as the film ends. In conclusion, I have to say I really enjoyed this movie. I found it quite novel to have a contrast of this American action movie running around London where all other characters are taken pretty much from the bill.
Well, you say novel, but I'd probably call it retarded. They go with the tired old idea of him being a maverick who doesn't play by the rules but gets results, but in this case he's been certified as insane, but is still allowed to run around with a gun shooting bins because he's allegedly the best.
Don't worry about it.
I also enjoyed how atmospheric this movie was. The dark flooded London with a lot of attention to detail, especially in the wading scenes. It's not just lip service, they really tried to create a whole world out of this.
The film is actually quite frustrating in parts because it seems to have a few good ideas, but then totally throw them away. As the film starts, it's fairly well suggested that Stone could in fact be the killer, but this is quickly abandoned when Dick comes up with his psychic theory connecting to horoscopes, which the film expects us to take seriously even though it's complete bullshit. It's also kind of annoying how Stone is just a complete arsehole to Dick for no reason other than the fact that he's new. It's presumably meant to be funny but becomes quite boring and annoying very quickly.
Speaking of Dick, I really did like his sudden turnaround halfway through the movie once he'd seen the monster. It's actually like he's going through a nervous breakdown, suddenly realising the scope of the situation and needing to actually do something about it.
Did you get to see him?
Him? Wasn't it him? That was a fucking it.
We've got to get bigger guns.
I also like that we don't see the Beast that much until the very end. It helps build suspense and we don't really know what it is until we need to.
Will somebody please tell me what the hell's going on here?
Although most of the plot doesn't make sense and doesn't really provide any answers. They mention how the Beast collects the DNA of its victims, but that doesn't actually seem to go anywhere. It's never explained how the Beast was able to send the heart to Stone in the first place. Surely someone would have spotted him, or there would have been a report of a Beast showing up with a package in the post office. It's never particularly explained why the Beast feels the need to taunt Stone as it's collecting these hearts, and why did it go to all the time and effort to carve a map onto Dick's chest.
Are you telling me there's something running around loose in this city, ripping the hearts out of people and eating them so they can take their souls back to hell?
Looks that way.
Despite being a heavily dated movie, it's an atmospheric and highly enjoyable action movie, with a lot more plot than you might expect.
At the end of the day, it's a dull, poorly thought out, jumbled collection of several subplots that don't really go anywhere but then mercifully ends.
You're both fucking nuts!